What's up, assholes? Welcome back to another Price of Power Harvest of Sorrow card review. You thought I wouldn't finish, did you? Didn't you? You thought I wouldn't finish, didn't you? I know English. We're going to talk about Syndicate today. They're getting more support for their Bounty Witch Hunter archetype. Now, full disclaimer. Syndicate is my least played faction. Least favorite faction. And while I do enjoy what they are going for with the Bounty archetype for these past few sets, I know very little about how the faction actually works. So, anything I say about actual playability and power level, take it with a grain of salt. But I am mainly here to just talk about the designs themselves, if I think they are cool, if I think they bode well for the future of Gwent card design. So far I've been happy with the cards we've gotten with Harvest of Sorrow for Nilfgaard and Scoia'tael. And let's see if the same is true for Syndicate. First up, we've got the Brute, which is the legendary card for Syndicate this set. Another 13 provision card. Now, Scoia'tael did not get a 13 provision card, but Nilfgaard did. Syndicate did, and at the time of recording this, we have seen Skellige and Monsters as well, both of which got a 13 provision legendary. So, kind of a trend, but for some reason, Scoia'tael missed out. Honestly, I'm happy for them because I think 12 provision cards are nicer to look at. I don't know why. I mean, it's the unlucky number. 13? None of that. That's why I keep losing, because I play 13 provision cards. But the Brute is a 6-strength human witch hunter, the alter ego of Ignatius Hale. Profit 0, deploy, boost self by 0. It's pretty awesome. Because the boost isn't exactly 0, it is equal to the base power of the last destroyed unit with a bounty. And whenever you place a bounty on an enemy unit, you increase this unit's profit by 1. So much like his other card from Thanet Ku, Ignatius Hale, he benefits from you playing a lot of bounties. Of course, unless you're playing Jackpot, any profit above 9 is going to be useless. If you do play Jackpot, it's just extra coins in the bank. Well, actually, that's literally what it's not. It's not extra coins in the bank, but it's extra boost on your big man. So this card is, I like it. I like it. 13 provisions means it's hard to include unless your deck really wants it. And obviously the only type of deck that could really want this card is a bounty deck. And they've been really pushing bounty throughout all of Price of Power. As of right now in the current state of the game, bounty has yet to be played, which is a shame because it is really cool. I really do like what they're going for. I gotta appreciate that they are going so hard into one very specific archetype, making cards that really want to be played together synergistically. There's a very specific deck. Because I think we've all had enough of, Syndicate cards just being so easy value in every Syndicate deck. So whatever Syndicate deck is popular at the time, there's the Professor. Now, we did get Witchfinder from Once Upon a Pyre, who has found her way into a lot of Syndicate decks. Actually, not that many, just the good one, Line Pockets. But you're never going to see this in Line Pockets. But as is the case with some of the other cards I'll be talking about today, as well as a lot of the cards that we've gotten previously in Price of Power, if Bounty becomes actually playable, a lot of these cards are really good. If Bounty remains subpar and people aren't really going to play it because it's not strong enough, most of these cards are bad. So really, as someone who knows very little about Syndicate, and generally knows not that much about how to judge power level in Gwent in general, And talking about an archetype that, you know, really could be could be whatever at this point. I can really only speak about the quality of the design, and I think it's really cool. It's got this double payoff type of thing, and it's nice. I like it. Was that good? I felt that it got too convoluted, but I like it. I like the brute. I like his hair. I like his dogs. I love everything. Next up, whoops, Purge. A new crime card, but not a crime card that people are going to just slide right into lined pockets. Sorry for the imagery there. Damage an enemy unit by 3. Increase the damage by 1 for every witch hunter on your side of the battlefield. Deathblow plays a bounty on the highest power enemy unit. I mean, we've all seen how good Nature's Rebuke is. That's the card. Nature's Rebuke. 5 damage, 5 provision special, Deathblow. You get a 2 boost on a Treant. Ooh. This, with only 2 witch hunters on the battlefield, you'll deal 5 damage, and with the Deathblow, you'll get a bounty. A free bounty. This is potentially really huge. And, you know, it's this interesting type of removal where if your opponent opens with a 4 strength engine, you can't kill it with this. You're going to have to let it live. I'm sorry. You're going to have to let something live. But, play some witch hunters. Later down the line, they play something else they want to survive. You butcher it, and you get a bounty. Or, you know, maybe it's not something you really care about killing, but, you know, if you have 5 witch hunters and the opponent has a raging bear, put a bounty on that raging bear. Deal 8 damage with your 5 provision special. Get a payoff for the bounty, and get a new bounty. This card has a lot of potential, but it does require synergy, setup. It's not just an instant kill on whatever your opponent plays, unless they open with a Revenant. But then, again, if it's their opening unit, then there'll be nothing to bounty. So you have to wait. You want to wait. This is not, even though the primary element of this card is just damaging an enemy unit, it's not really a removal card. It can be used as one. I mean, here's the thing. You know, there are cards that, you know, you want to kill, but they're played later in the round. Koshe, anyone? You know, comes down. 4 strength, 2 armor. Often boosted by 1 by Mr. Relic Man. Leshen, Woodland Spirit. But still, you've had a few turns to set up Witch Hunters. You may just kill it, and then place a bounty on that Woodland Spirit. Kill that, get 9 coins. Life is good. So I think this is a card that, you know, it requires just a little bit of a specific playstyle. You can't just put this into whatever you want. But you can get handsomely rewarded. Handsomely. Next up, we got Octavia Hale, who is the mother. She's not the mother, she's the mother of, we got the Brute, Ignatius Hale in the back, and we got the Scoundrel. Who, why does he look like that? Mr. Fabian Hale. 7 for 7. Alright, not bad, not bad. Deploy, draw up to 2 of Octavia's sons to your hand, then shuffle back the same number of cards. Now, as we all know, I'm a little bit late with this video, so at this point, most people already know this. But in case you don't, the cards that count as Octavia's sons are the Brute, Ignatius Hale, Fabian Hale, and the Scoundrel. That's 4 cards, 2 of which are legendary units, which are both pretty solid in bounty decks. The others are, you know, cheaper units, you know, less impressive, but still pretty, you know, potentially pretty good in, again, full-on bounty decks. So while this card technically, you know, has nothing to do with bounty, it doesn't mention bounty, doesn't give you coins, doesn't do damage. It's still very, very bounty centric. And you're only going to play it in decks that go hard in on the bounty. And that's great. Is it a good card? Again, depends on the bounty archetype. If bounty ends up being playable, this is a great card. Because it lets you draw like 2 of your big legendary cards. And you have some backup options or some decent epic cards. If bounty ends up being bad, and nobody plays it, nobody's going to play this card. But the card itself, it's a nice design. It's a flavorful ability, which I love to see. I do really love to see it. You know, just really playing with the fact that these are a family. And it's been a theme of the whole Price of Power expansion that the Hales are this crazy family of witch hunters. And here they're just really playing into that family aspect. And it's just nice flavor. You know, like you just feel like you're really playing the mother of these two crazy sons of bitches. That would make her a bitch. No offense, Octavia, but I think you're kind of a bitch. And it's nice. And again, you know, in a bounty deck, this is a good card. So, really nice. And a lot of people have been complaining about the art. My only real issue with the art is how dumb this guy looks. I mean, I know he, you know, sure he's crazy, like they're crazy, and you can tell. But he just looks dumb. But I like the coloring, I like the lighting, and I just find it very interesting. First of all, she really reminds me of Roderick, the Nilfgaard guy. Isn't he like sitting by a table and being like, "Oh, I got money. Well, give me money." It's just, like, all 3 characters are centered, like more or less centered on the card. You have her in the forefront, and then you have the crazy guys in the back. It's cool. I like it. Speaking of liking it, I don't like this. Savvy Huckster. Whew. A 4/4 human. Profit 1, deploy, deal 1 damage. Bonded, increase profit and damage by 1. What? Why is this a card? Why ever would this be a card? I mean, stat-wise, it is, you know, very comparable to a lot of bonded units. It's a 6/4 with bonded. It's an 8/4. Whoa! But you don't want to play this. Here's the thing. Each faction is getting a 4 provision unit with bonded, right? And like none of them are really spectacular because they're 4 provision cards. But at the time of recording this, we've seen every faction except Northern Realms. We just got the first NR reveal right before I sat down to record. Really interesting card. We've seen all the other 5 factions. Scoia'tael, you know, Watcher of the Valley. I don't think it's going to be that great of a card. But it's an elf, which is actually a good tag. Both for hand buff and for, you know, a lot of Scoia'tael decks. And it's a nice filler card in an archetype that I think needs exactly those types of filler cards. So while it's not a spectacular card, I think it has a reason to exist. In Nilfgaard, we got the Illusionist, which I think is the most interesting one. It's got a really cool effect. And its bonded effect, I think, point-wise, is potentially the highest. Skellige, which I'll be talking about in the next video, I just think theirs is great. Like, it has the beast tag, which is relevant. Like, it's people want more beasts. We've gotten more beasts, and it's actually relevant. It's a good tag, and like the card is just good. Stat-wise, it's very similar to Savvy Huckster. But the card just plays more into like good synergies. And again, more relevant tag. Monsters, they got a relic. How relevant is that anymore? I don't know. Did they need more relics? I don't know, but it's at least a relevant tag, right? And the effect? I mean, the bonded effect is pretty good. Unbonded, not as good, but it's a you win some, you lose some. Overall, it's a more interesting card than this. Why can't this bonded unit be a witch hunter? Now, I get it. Some idiot little red leprechaun, stupid looking ass motherfucker, is not qualifying for being a witch hunter. He's just selling rocks. But why not make this the crime? This is the crime. Oh, selling stones. Or like stoning. Or like something. Come up with a clever name. Make that the crime, You're dealing some damage because you're tossing the stones. The more witch hunters you have, the more people you have tossing the stones. Whatever. And then take this badass art and turn it into a witch hunter with bonded. I mean, they're a crew. Do that. The only good thing about this card, and in this one aspect, I think it does a great job, is the name. Savvy Huckster. I love the name. It's a great name. The art is very meh, and the ability is shit. Anyway. That's it. I mean, overall, like, I think no matter what that 4 provision card was, it was probably never going to be relevant anyway, so like I'm not too upset about that. The other 3 cards I really like, and I hope they are enough to push Bounty into, somewhat playable. I don't want it to be super insane, crazy top tier shit that we have to play against, 5 out of 10 matches and just hate our lives because of. But I want it to be playable. If I'm gonna make a guess, I would guess that these new cards alone won't make it playable. I could be wrong. I mean, having the Brute as a powerful top end card and Octavia Hale as a consistency tool, maybe it's great. Purge is potentially really powerful. But I feel like if Bounty isn't all that playable now, I don't feel like these cards change that. So I think whether or not Bounty becomes playable depends on the patch notes. The balance changes. Are other Bounty cards getting buffs? Is maybe Line Pockets getting a nerf, so people stop playing that and try to experiment with some other things? We'll have to see. But the most important thing for me is just that the card designs are good and not like super obviously broken. I think they've done a good job. I think the card designs are interesting, except for Savvy Huckster. But these 3, cool abilities. I feel like they definitely belong in the game. I think they will add, a lot of fun and interesting aspects to the Bounty archetype. Harvest of Sorrow, not just talking about the 3 factions I've reviewed so far in the videos, but like all the 5 that we've seen at the time of recording this. I'm very impressed. Card design in Gwent has come a long way. It's looking really good. Hopefully it ends up actually being good and not just ruining the game. We can never really tell until the cards come out, but fingers crossed. Nothing will break the game. And we'll just have fun. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed hearing my thoughts on the new Syndicate cards coming with Harvest of Sorrow. Let me know down below what thoughts you have on these cards. Are you maybe a part of the very tiny but probably existing Savvy Huckster fan club? Do you have meetings at the Mushy Truffle with all the Savvy Huckster fans? If so, I want to know. And can I join the club just because I love his name? Is that enough, or do I have to actually like the card? Anyway. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you again soon for the Skelliger review. Oh boy, Skelliger. Spicy as always. Until next time, have a good one.